Hey paper crafters, thank you so much for joining me today. I love that you took the time to pop by my channel, check out the video that I've got going, and hopefully stay and poke around a little bit. I'm really excited to be able to offer some videos now and then and share my love of paper crafting. So I hope you find something that you enjoy and come back to see me another time. Bye-bye. Hey paper crafting friends, thanks for joining me today. I have got a grandbaby due any day, and I decided that I would go ahead and get a new baby layout done for the pictures that I'm sure I'm going to have as soon as little Miss Kinley gets here. So I've chosen this paper called Bundle of Joy. This is an Echo Park pack, and it came with some great stickers. It's got really beautiful double-sided papers. So this is going to be my focus. And then I'm going to pull in some of my Kiwi Lane templates to help me with my design. So let me show you the main palette that I've chosen for this layout. I'm going to go with this pink background paper, and this is a close to my heart paper. And then as far as the Echo Park papers that I pulled out, I'm going to go with these as my border pieces. So I've got this really fun little onesie paper and this great print with all kinds of great little baby print things on it. This will probably just be for a little strip to separate and give a little definition between those two really busy patterns. And then I've got this really beautiful patterned blue that I want to use for a banner and probably a couple other details on the page. Any other things that I add, I'll just kind of decide as I'm going, but I really love the way all of this works together. I'll just give you a quick peek. And I think that's going to turn out really beautiful. I'm going to use my templates to get a plan laid out, and then I'll pop back out and show you where we're going to go from here. So I've got my basic plan laid out, and oh my gosh, I love this soft pink paper. It just screams baby girl. So I'm excited about this as my background. And then I really wanted this to have, you know, a baby feminine feel. So I pulled out scallops border set, and I've got scallops 1A and 1B on each side here. And then I pulled out Sunnybrook Lane. This is 2A and 2B. So I went ahead and split those here. This pattern is with these borders running up and down. That's going to work out fine for this paper that is definitely directional. So I'll be able to trace those borders this way on the paper, and all of the words and all the critters and everything will be facing the right direction. Okay. The other thing I used is just a 1/2 inch strip. So that 1/2 inch strip is just going to be this brown pattern. And then for the fun scallop, I'm actually going to use these little cutie onesies. Okay. I have put some photo mats down where I think I'm going to go ahead and do some photos. And I think I'm just going to go ahead and use a white, plain white for the photo mats. That way, they just give a nice accent to the photo without competing with the photos themselves. The other thing that I pulled in, this is from Citrus. So this was from the May 2020 Kiwi Club kit. And I am going to do her name on this banner. So my new granddaughter's name will be Kinley. So I need 6 letters. So I'll go ahead and just use 6 pieces of this. There were some alphabet stickers that are part of this Echo Park kit. They're pretty tall, so I'm going to need to make each one of these banners just a little bit taller than it is on here. So I will definitely do a little video segment to show you how I make that change on here, so that if you run into that same issue in the future, you'll know how to make some adjustments. And then I've pulled in a couple of templates from our Hope accessory set. So there's a really sweet baby bottle template, and then this is a rattle. I'm just going to do a little bit of layering, I think, with these over in this big spot here. And then I wanted to create a onesie. And I don't have a template for that, but I'll show you what I did. So I've got this shirt from the All-Star accessory set. So I went ahead and traced the shirt to just get the basic shape of the onesie. Okay, so we'll put it right up there. The All-Star shirt really came up kind of like shoulder pads, right? Maybe for a football jersey. So I went ahead and traced the neck, I traced the sleeve, and then the side of the shirt, okay? To deal with that shoulder pad issue, I just turned and used the side of the template to make it straight instead of bounced up like the shoulder pads, okay? The other issue that I found is that when I was thinking about a onesie, this came down a little bit further than I wanted. So I just rotated this a bit to change the way that the edge of the shirt comes down, okay? And then there's this bottom section. So for this bottom, I was just trying to kind of estimate how far down to go for a onesie, and I used one of the petals from the floral to just get a little curve there for the bottom part of the onesie. And then to make the leg curve, I went ahead and used that same curve from the neck of the t-shirt and was able to just make that curve for the leg for the onesie. So what I'm going to end up doing is cutting this out, and I am going to use this as my template, and I'll probably just store that with my Hope accessory set because it's definitely a babyish thing. I would use it again. So now that I've created a master of that, I'll get that cut out, and that'll be my new template to add to my Hope set. So if you have baby pages to do, I hope that gives you a fun idea. I am going to start doing some tracing and get these borders cut. And again, I will pop on and share how I do this banner for Kinley's name, and we'll see how everything starts to come together. I'm going to work on this little banner, and I just wanted to show you kind of the method to my madness. So my new granddaughter's name will be Kinley, so it's got 6 letters. So I know that I'm going to need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of these banner pieces. I'm not going to need this one, but I do want to have some of the rope or twine or whatever's going to hold the banner together. So I am going to scooch this on my paper so that I have about the same amount of that edging as I have here. So let's go ahead and get that first line traced. And remember, I told you that I want these to be a little bit taller than they are, okay? So let me get the edge done. All right, so to get just the basic shape down, what I want to do is go ahead and trace the sides of these banners, okay? But I'm not going to go all the way down and trace the bottom of the banner. So I'm just going to do kind of that triangle in the middle. And I know that I'm going to need them about a 1/2 inch longer than they are. And I actually didn't need to do that side right there. Whoops. Okay. So the next thing I want to do is figure out how tall I really do need with these letters. What's my spacing going to look like? So the first letter of her name is a K. So I want to pull this K and just get a feel for the sizing that I'm going to want on there, okay? So I actually could do that all the way along and then come back and do the bases, but they're all going to be very similar, right? So I know that I'm going to need this to be about to here. So I'm going to go along and try to keep that same spacing. So it's probably actually closer to about 3/4 of an inch down. I can keep scooching it over, make sure that I'm lining it up with the original lines that I started. And and get those bottoms traced. Whoop. So now when I go to cut it, I can just approximate from here up, and I may need to come in a little. We'll just have to see how that goes as I cut it. But just by doing that shifting, I've went ahead and made those a little taller to accommodate these letters. And then I'll still have some space at the top to do some twine or something right along the top edge of this banner. So hopefully that is helpful and gives you an opportunity to see how to alter the banner as you go. All right, I've been busy working on some embellishments for this page, and I just wanted to share some of the steps that I've gone through, just in case you're newer to Kiwi Lane and maybe haven't seen some of the tips and tricks for combining things and how to get some different textures and things on your templates. So here's the banner that I made for Kinley's name. So on this, I really just inked around the outside edge and then got each one of those sticker letters on, and they were getting a little bit lost in that pattern. So all I did here was outline each one of those letters with a brown Sharpie. It just matches the color of the ink and matches the strip that I'm using, that 1/2 inch strip on the borders. So I think that's going to look really nice when we put it all together. I wanted to carry this same color tone through some of the other embellishments. So I used that same paper to make the onesie and to make the bottle, because those are going to be on opposite sides of the layout, and that'll just kind of carry that pretty color across. So for the bottle, which is the Hope 3 template, I went ahead and traced the main part of the bottle on this turquoise paper. And then when I hit this edge here, I knew that I wanted to do a different little color for what would be to hold the nipple on the bottle. So I just gave myself a little space to be able to attach that, okay? I traced the nipple separately, and I just did it white. I did the same thing, okay? I traced it on white, and I gave myself a little extra to be able to do the attachment. Okay. When I go to put these together, I actually will use the template as my guide, just to make sure that I end up with placement that really makes sense. Okay, so that'll help me get those two. And then this ring, I went ahead and did in a separate color, and it's going to join everything together. So that'll be something like that. Okay. The rattle, I used a similar strategy. I wanted the handle of the rattle to be one print, and I wanted to go ahead and carry this too. Anytime I'm making a paper decision with a patterned paper, I want it in more than one place. So I used it for the handle, and I used it for this little top spot on the rattle, okay? So again, I'm going to use my template itself to help when I go to put it together, and that'll help me get all the spacing correct on that. So it'll end up something like that. And then the onesies, if you remember, one of the papers that I'm using has the really sweet little onesies on it. And if you look closely, each one of those onesies has a little heart in it. So once I traced the onesie, I decided I wanted to put the heart. And I remembered that this Love at Home template has a really sweet heart that I thought would be about the right size. So I went ahead and traced that out of that same pink chevron paper. And I've got some coordinated embellishments. It didn't take that long, and they're going to be customized for this page. So I will be right back, and we'll put it all together. All right, well, let's see how this turned out with all of the choices that I made. So for this Sunnybrook Lane 2A and 2B, I used that really fun print with all the just darling little animals, bears, flowers, butterflies. Can't get much more baby girl than that. For the scallops 1A and 1B, I used the onesie paper. Now you can see when you put those two side by side why I really wanted something to separate them. So you can definitely use multiple busy patterns on your page, but you want to make sure that you do something to allow those two to stand alone, okay? So that's what we're doing there. So super cute on the pink background. So the next thing that I worked on was the banner for Kinley's name. So I think the sizing actually worked out really well. And I'll need to do a little trimming to figure out exactly how I want that to go. But her name is going to go something like that. And then I've got all of my photo mats. And I told you I was going to go ahead and just do white, which I did. I did ink around them with the vintage photo. So it's that brown ink. And for this layout, the brown is perfect because it really helps tie everything together. And I love how it kind of offsets these white photo mats on the light pink background, but just adds just a tiny bit of color. So I'm excited about how all of this is coming together. Now I just need the baby to get here so I can put some pictures on this layout. This one, it's probably going to depend on the photos that I end up with. I could go over the border here if I don't have anything to spare on that photo. If there is, something where it can be tucked, then I could tuck it. So it's really, I'm going to wait to place that photo mat permanently until I have photos in hand. Okay. What we have left are just some cute little embellishments. So I was thinking I would probably do something like the onesie up here. And then my original plan was to do the bottle and the rattle kind of down here somehow. So I don't know exactly, but somehow to really make them pop. This rattle for me feels like it's really getting lost. So I may leave the bottle here and then put the rattle somewhere where it's going to pop a little bit more. This pattern is too close to the size of these patterns and it's just getting buried in there. So it could even just be, something like that. So I will continue to play with that part a little bit because it doesn't ever hurt to make some changes. So we'll see exactly how I end up with that done, but something along those lines, definitely very babyish. And if I wanted to, I can always add in a little journaling somewhere that would include her birth date and weight and things like that. So there were even some cute cards in the set that could potentially be used to add those kind of details. Some of these have great little lines on them and stuff. So we'll see how that last bit comes together when I finish it up. So hopefully you got some tips today, and if you've got a baby girl in your life, you've got an idea for something to pull together to make a quick layout. So thanks for joining me today, and I hope to see you next time. Bye-bye.